Hello students. In this particular video, we are going to study about blood supply of brain. Last classes, we have understood the anatomy, the physiology, right? And now we will see in detail the blood supply of brain. The first thing that we have to understand is that the nervous system is richly supplied with blood. And why we need to understand the importance that any part of the nervous system, if there is any interruption of blood supply, even for a short period of time, it can result in damage to nervous tissue. So let us begin with understanding the arteries supplying the brain. The arteries supplying the brain include internal carotid arteries and the vertebral arteries. As you can see in your textbook diagrams, this is the internal carotid artery, and here you can see the vertebral artery. In further slides, we will also understand how they divide further and they supply the whole part of the brain. Internal carotid artery, which is one of the branches that supply the brain. This is further divided into anterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery, right? So internal carotid arteries on both the sides, you will have two branches, anterior cerebral arteries and the middle cerebral artery. So now first let us understand on this diagram also. This is your internal carotid artery, and here you can see the middle cerebral artery, and you can see the internal carotid artery is divided this side also, and that is called the anterior cerebral artery. Now talking about the vertebral arteries, when we talk about vertebral arteries, you have to understand two vertebral arteries ascend on anterolateral aspects of medulla. At the lower border of pons, they unite to form basilar artery. Here, as you can see, the basilar artery. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. The vertebral arteries ascend on anterolateral aspects of medulla, and at lower border of pons they unite and they form basilar artery. Now let us understand further the circle of Willis, or which is also called the circulus arteriosus. Let us understand about this arterial anastomotic circle. This circle of Willis, what we call as circle of Willis, is an arterial anastomotic circle present in the interpeduncular fossa. Now, if you see the shape of it, students, you can see it's forming a polygonal shape, right? It's forming a polygonal shape, and it extends from superior border of pons and median longitudinal fissure. I hope the points are clear to you. When we have studied the various landmarks, we have already studied about this pons, we have studied about median longitudinal fissure, And as we will discuss some diagrams, the things will be more clear also to you. The arterial circle is an anastomosis between the internal carotid and the vertebro-basilar system of arteries. So here इंटरनल कैरोटिड आर्टरी है, यहाँ इंटरनल कैरोटिड आर्टरी है, ये सब का जो वर्टिब्रो बैसिलर आर्टरी के साथ में जो एक कम्युनिकेशन फॉर्म होता है, जो एनास्टोमोसिस इज द जॉइनिंग ऑफ दिस, द कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन टू is actually forming the circle of Willis. Okay, now in this, let us understand one by one the important features. The first thing, as you see, the formation, there is a mention of anterior communicating artery. Now if you see here, you can see this side also there are cerebral artery, this side is also anterior cerebral artery, right? So the anterior communicating artery is this portion, students. Fine. ये जो portion है, ये anterior communicating artery है. This is connecting the right and the left anterior cerebral arteries. Okay, again I repeat, here what you see, we have already learned internal carotid artery divides into anterior cerebral artery and middle cerebral artery. तो ये जो मैंने जगह highlight की है, this is the area which is joining the right and the left anterior cerebral artery, and this is called the anterior communicating artery. Okay, this forms the anterior part of the circle of Willis. When we call this whole thing as a circle of Willis, this is forming the anterior part of the circle of Willis. Now let us see what forms the anterolateral part, right? It is very clear. You can see in the lateral part is the anterior cerebral artery. This forms the anterolateral part on each side, here also and here also, both the sides. You can see the lateral part of the anterolateral part of the circle of Willis is formed by anterior cerebral artery. Now next thing that we see is the lateral part is formed by the termination of internal carotid artery on each side. So here you can see the internal carotid artery, here is the internal carotid artery, right? So lateral parts are formed by the termination of the internal carotid artery on each side. Now when we see the posterior part of the circle of Willis, the circle is completed posteriorly by bifurcation of the basilar artery. Here you can see basilar artery is bifurcating into posterior cerebral artery. Here also posterior cerebral artery. So basilar artery bifurcates into posterior cerebral arteries, right and left posterior cerebral arteries, and these form the posterior portion of the circle of Willis. Now, what is on the posterolateral part? Let us see. Here you see posterior communicating artery, right? Here, posterior communicating artery. Here also, and here also posterior communicating artery. So posterior communicating artery is what? It is the connecting link between the internal carotid and posterior cerebral arteries. Got it? So this actually is involved in the formation of circle of Willis. And remember, middle cerebral artery does not take part in the formation of circle of Willis. Now, as you have seen, this is forming a full anastomosis network. This is beneficial for us. Let us see. The functional importance of circle of Willis is, first thing as you see here students, the first thing to understand is it equalizes pressure. ठीक है, equalizes pressure on both sides of the brain. क्योंकि दोनों तरफ से डिवाइड होके दोनों तरफ ब्लड सप्लाई जा रहा है, ये ब्रेन के दोनों तरफ जो ब्लड फ्लो का प्रेशर है उसको मेंटेन करके रखेगा. ओके, हियर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्रेशर ऑफ ब्लड फ्लो ऑन बोथ साइड्स ऑफ द brain. Next thing to understand is when we talk about anastomosis, right? If anastomosis is already present, it provides an alternate route for blood to enter through the internal carotid और basilar artery. ठीक है, तो इंटरनल कैरोटिड से भी ब्लड फ्लो हो सकता है और कैरोटिड से भी ब्लड फ्लो हो सकता है. तो क्या फायदा है, सर्कल ऑफ विलिस को फॉर्म करने वाले किसी एक मेजर आर्टरी में अगर ब्लॉक है, इफ देयर इज एनी ब्लॉक इन एनी ऑफ द मेजर आर्टरीज फॉर्मिंग द सर्कल ऑफ विलिस, then because of this anastomosis the blood can still be supplied to the blocked area. Understood? So this is about the functional importance of having a circle of Willis in our brain. Next, we need to know the clinical correlation. When we have already understood the blood supply, let's see the clinical correlation. The major issue is Berry aneurysm. Fine. This is a major issue that can be seen. What is it? It is localized dilatation on one of the arteries of the circle of Willis. It could be because of any congenital muscular weakness. A congenital means what? Acquired from birth, right? The most common sites are near the anterior cerebral artery, right? Junction of anterior cerebral artery and anterior communicating arteries. And also you would find at the bifurcation of internal carotid arteries. Why are we worried about these cute looking things? We call them berries, but then why are we worried about them, students? Because these are dilatations. These dilatations can rupture, these can break, these can rupture, and it can cause life-threatening subarachnoid hemorrhage. ठीक है, आपने अभी जब meninges सीखा है, spaces सीखा है, you have learned the subarachnoid space. So what can happen in that area? There can be subarachnoid area, you will find subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay, so this has to be understood about the clinical correlation when we study the various arteries that are supplying to the brain. तो हमने internal carotid देख लिया. Now next let us see the vertebrobasilar arteries. Now as you see here, you can see vertebral artery is what? It is a branch of this subclavian artery and enters the cranial cavity through foramen magnum. ठीक है, तो ये यहाँ से it is entering the cranial cavity. So this has to be understood. So here you see this is the vertebral artery, branch of the subclavian artery, and it enters the cranial cavity through foramen magnum. ठीक है, दोनों साइड में है, राइट में भी है और लेफ्ट में भी है. Now they unite where they unite, we have already seen, they unite at the lower margin of pons. And what do they form? Basilar artery. ठीक है, एकदम ब्रेन के पीछे पॉन्स के एरिया में दोनों तरफ से जुड़ जाते हैं और बनते हैं basilar artery. So this part of it is also clear to you. So we have seen this. Internal carotid artery यहाँ दिख रहा है, common carotid artery दिख रहा है. Vertebral artery is what we are discussing, and vertebral artery from both right and left sides would come, and at the lower margin of pons they will form the basilar artery. Now, intracranial branches of vertebral artery in your textbook which you are following, that is P.R. Ashalata and G. Deepa, textbook Anatomy and Physiology for Nurses, right? In that there is added information on intracranial branches of vertebral artery. So let's review them also. So here the important ones that you have to see, here is the anterior spinal artery. Here is the posterior spinal artery, right? Then posterior inferior cerebral artery. Okay, posterior inferior cerebral artery can be seen here. ठीक है, सब इसके जो आगे है meningeal branches, then medullary arteries, all these important intracranial branches of vertebral artery has to be noted. Now, these branches of intracranial part of vertebral artery supply not only the hindbrain, they are also supplying to the spinal cord. ठीक है, सो ये याद रखना, जब हम स्पाइनल कॉर्ड का यूनिट पढ़ेंगे, टॉपिक पढ़ेंगे, तो वहां पर भी इसको आपको याद रखना है. These I will mention them again. So this is to be understood. These supplies have to be understood. Okay. Besides that, let us see now what are the branches of basilar artery. Branches of basilar artery, in that the first thing you can see, superior cerebral artery, that is one thing. Anterior inferior cerebral artery, right? Then you have the pontine branches and labyrinth artery. Here you can see the labyrinthine artery. ठीक है, labyrinthine artery भी है. अभी 83% of cases में ये जो labyrinthine artery है, it originates from the anterior inferior cerebral artery. ठीक है, यहाँ से जो आपने anterior inferior cerebral artery देखा, उसी में से originate होता है. For which reason it is also called cerebello-labyrinthine artery. Okay, so this is just variations. In 83% of cases you find branches of this anterior inferior cerebral artery only forming the labyrinthine artery, so they are called cerebello-labyrinthine artery. Let's go further. Let's understand the internal carotid artery. It has been made simple. We have already seen the internal carotid artery give rise to anterior cerebral, right, and the middle cerebral. Now in this diagram you can see ये आपका anterior cerebral है आगे की तरफ, और बीच में जो जा रहा है वो है middle cerebral artery. Here you can see besides that the posterior communicating artery. ठीक है, posterior communicating artery also can be seen, and besides that anterior choroidal branches also to the choroid plexus of lateral and third ventricles. Okay, so this we have understood about the internal carotid artery, students. Internal carotid artery, major bifurcations: anterior cerebral artery, middle cerebral artery, you have a posterior communicating artery, and anterior choroidal branches, that is to the choroidal plexus of lateral and third ventricles. This is another slide showing the internal carotid artery. Here you can see very well the anterior choroidal artery also. Okay. Besides the ones we have already seen, we have seen the middle cerebral artery, right? We are looking out for the anterior choroidal branches. Okay, so that is why I have added up this also in your slides. Now, when we talk about the internal carotid artery and vertebral arteries supplying to the brain, let's review some important things. Artery, that is anterior cerebral artery, middle cerebral artery and posterior cerebral artery. Anterior cerebral artery, we know it supplies, the functional areas supplied are motor and sensory areas of lower limb and perineum. Now students, when we talk about this, that it is supplying these areas for lower limb and perineum, we have to understand the clinical correlation that when there is any damage to the supply, okay, it could be a rupture, it could be a clot formation that is there, anything is there that would not supply to the motor and sensory areas. So what would happen? There will be paralysis. There will be paralysis of muscles of the leg and foot of the opposite side. Okay, by involvement of the upper part of the motor area. Besides that, there will be loss of sensation from leg and foot of the opposite side. This has to be understood. Then the other thing is person may show some personality changes. Like in earlier classes also we had discussed, if there is a problem with blood supply getting interrupted in the frontal lobe, the individual may show some personality changes. So we've seen one is that the individual may have paralysis. The other thing is there can be loss of sensation, and you can even see that the individual is having personality changes. Okay, so besides that, you have to also observe what is done. How do you find out? Right, you find out by CT scans. CT scans होते हैं, MRIs होती हैं, then only you are able to find out that whether really there is some problem with the blood supply to the area. Okay, so this is about your first one, anterior cerebral artery. Okay. Besides that, one more thing I have to mention, there is sense of stereognosis that also gets impaired. What is stereognosis? That is, you're able to perceive, ability to perceive form of solid objects by touch, okay, or mental perception of depth or three dimension by senses. What it means that even if my eyes are closed, even by the sensation of touch, I should be able to say कि भाई ये bottle है, ये laptop है ना? वो जो ability है, that also is lost if there is some problem with the supply in the anterior cerebral artery. Next is middle cerebral artery. Middle cerebral artery, the functional areas that is applied, motor and sensory areas of upper limb, trunk and face. Then premotor area, frontal eye field, auditory area and the speech centers in the dominant hemisphere. So when you relate it कि मिडल सेरेब्रल आर्टरी इन एरियाज को सप्लाई करता है, राइट, स्पीच सेंटर को, आई फील्ड, ऑल दिस थिंग. सो नाउ थिंक इफ देयर इज अ clot, if there is a hemorrhage, if there is something that compresses the circulation, you would find person having hemiplegia and loss of sensation of the opposite side of the body. And as we know, this is the area where Broca and Wernicke's area is there. So person may have difficulty with speech, right? Aphasia will be there. Now let's see about posterior cerebral artery. Posterior cerebral artery, the functional area that is supplied is the visual cortex. Okay, so person can have visual hallucinations. Okay, so this can be one major problem, that person is having visual hallucinations. Okay, then another problem could be homonymous hemianopia. What is it? That the person is able to see only one side, either right or the left side. Okay, so that is another thing that you will find in clinical correlation. For your first year level, presently even this much basic is enough. As you will start learning about different medical surgical conditions in second year and third year, you should be able to relate कि हाँ भाई हमने यहाँ पर ये functional area के बारे में सीखा था, and this is the disease that is, or the symptom that would be seen in the patient. Now the last, let's see the venous drainage. Venous drainage is by the cerebral veins. These are extremely thin veins as no muscle fibers are there in the walls. They cross the subarachnoid space and drain into the dural venous sinuses. Okay, this is about the venous drainage. Supplies by venous drainages occur by cerebral vein. And how is the formation? These are extremely thin. They don't have muscle fibers on their walls, and they cross the subarachnoid space and finally drain into dural venous sinuses. So students, in this particular slide recordings, we have already seen the full detail about the various arteries that are involved in supplying the brain. We have seen the importance of circle of Willis, how it is formed, the functional importance, and we have seen also Berry aneurysm, that is the clinical correlation to understand. And then we have also seen the various internal carotid artery and vertebral artery supplying to the functional areas of the brain, and how we have to clinically correlate. Thank you.